Invictus Games is about to make a return for 2025. And it's something we always look forward to at the Royal Report. It's the regular reminder of the old Prince Harry we know and deep down we love. Remember this?
I can only begin to imagine how challenging the journey of recovery.
So here's the bombshell, and trust me, it's one that's got everyone talking. Prince Harry's little fairy tale of privilege? Well, it just came crashing down in spectacular fashion. Right ahead of the Invictus Games, whispers are swirling that Harry made a shocking demand, a demand that left even the closest insiders wide-eyed. And no, it wasn't a request funded by his own personal fortune. Oh no, Harry wanted a private jet, but not on his dime. He allegedly expected the Invictus Games, an organization built entirely on the blood, sweat, and donations of people who care about veterans, to foot the bill for his luxury ride. Can you believe it? A veterans charity paying for Harry's comfort. But this time, the fairy tale prince didn't get the ending he wanted. He was hit with a brutal and very public no from the CEO, and it wasn't sugar-coated one bit.
These men and women, to move beyond their injuries is limitless.
I think the concept of the Invictus Games is admirable and it remains relevant. We should be taking every opportunity to focus on and celebrate our—
The CEO laid it out plain. Use your personal money for your jet, not the veterans' money. And with that, Harry's bubble burst. For years, Harry's floated along, protected by this illusion that his royal birth and Invictus connection made him untouchable. But that illusion just cracked wide open. The refusal wasn't just about saying no, it was about sending a loud and clear message. Invictus isn't about Harry, it isn't about his ego, and it certainly isn't about paying for his champagne-in-the-sky lifestyle. It's about veterans, and their sacrifices will not be cheapened by Harry's cravings for royal treatment. But let me tell you, behind the polished smiles of Invictus, frustration had been brewing for months.
Our veterans, and the focus should be on them for their service to us. Now, this year's Invictus Games opening ceremony in Vancouver is going to be pretty star-studded, and I hope that it strikes the right balance.
Donations, those hard-earned dollars people pour in, are meant for adaptive sports, rehab programs, and making life better for service members who gave everything for their countries. Yet Harry, a man who inherited millions, had the audacity to ask for those funds to be rerouted into his private comfort. Imagine the nerve. The CEO, clearly fed up, had no choice but to shut it down, and shut it down in a way that made sure the whole room heard it. Loud, clear, undeniable. And here's the kicker. This isn't the first time Harry's obsession with private jets has blown up in his face. Oh no, this is déjà vu in the worst possible way. The same man who hops on stage to scold the world about climate change and tell people to cut emissions? Yep, the very same guy is once again caught asking for his own emissions-heavy luxury ride. The hypocrisy practically screams.
We always look forward to the Invictus Games, and this year's event is shaping up very well. What can we expect?
Well, hi there, Carol. I think you just said it perfectly yourself. Hopefully it does strike the right balance between grit and glamour.
Because let's be real, how many times have we seen him? Sunglasses on, Meghan by his side, stepping off those glossy jet stairs like it's a photo shoot. It's practically become his signature move at this point. And every time another story like this pops up, critics pounce because it's too easy. Harry, the climate crusader, lecturing people to do better while he lives on private jets. But this time, the hypocrisy hits even harder. The Invictus Games, the one cause that once shielded him, the one charity that made people look past his scandals, has now joined the ranks of those rolling their eyes at him. The optics? Brutal. Here's Harry, the so-called champion of veterans, caught trying to siphon away their resources so he can sip champagne mid-air. Can you even imagine how that must sting for the athletes? These wounded warriors training their hearts out, raising funds, pushing limits, only to find out their patron wanted their money to cover his luxury plane.
These events are all about the focus of the servicemen and women who have given so much and faced such adversity for their service. So I think when you're looking at Vancouver and Whistler, the two locations that the latest Invictus Games are going to be in, it is going to be star-studded.
And it doesn't stop with Harry's humiliation. It splatters onto Invictus itself. This scandal threatens to overshadow the athletes with yet another stain of Sussex entitlement. And worse, it reveals something deep, something ugly. Harry hasn't learned a single thing from past backlash, not one. He still acts as though his status gives him the right to bend rules, to treat charities like personal piggy banks. It's the the same royal mentality in a man who loves to say he's renounced royal privilege. The contradiction is so glaring, even his most loyal defenders are scrambling for excuses, and let me tell you, they're running out of them fast.
So this might be Prince Harry's Invictus Games. It's his creation, it's his baby, but this is really a relaunch event, a whole week of exposure for the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle. Now, we haven't seen...
But the real twist? Invictus just drew a line in the sand. They're done letting Sussex drama drag their reputation through the mud. They will not bankroll his grand image. They will not confuse his personal luxuries with veteran sacrifices. Harry might have thought this was just another quiet arrangement he could slip through, but instead, it's become a public slap in the face. A moment of rejection that not only undermines his authority, but chips away at the very heart of the only project that gave him dignity. The CEO's refusal wasn't just a no.
For many, many months. She hasn't been out in public. She did do a huge PR blitz last year. It went badly. And she's avoided any exposure when it comes to Spare and when it comes to any promotions for Harry's book and also for his...
refusal. It was a loud, definitive line in the sand. And the fallout? Oh, it's been catastrophic for Harry's reputation, especially with the one group he cannot afford to lose. The veterans. Behind the scenes, the anger is boiling. For years, these service members looked at Harry as one of their own, a man who served, who wore the uniform, who could balance palace privilege with military grit. Invictus was supposed to be about them, healing, strength, empowerment. But now many feel betrayed. The whispers running through military circles aren't kind. They're harsh, even cutting. The word is, Harry isn't acting like their comrade anymore.
Appear with Harry, and the plan is to be happy. The plan is to look relaxed. And the plan is to get her on the front pages of the newspapers, into the news, onto the website, so we remember who she is again.
He's acting like a prince, expecting luxury while the veterans, the very heart of the games, make do with economy seats and exhausting travel schedules. And let me tell you, the sarcasm is flying. Nicknames are already spreading. Jet Prince, Private Jet Harry, and the cruelest one yet, Captain First Class. For soldiers who've given limbs, health, even sanity in service, hearing that their patron wanted to dip into their funds for his luxury travel, it cuts like a knife. But it isn't just the veterans seething. Donors, corporate sponsors, philanthropists, those who bankroll the games year after year are in shock. These are the people who give millions to ensure athletes have equipment, venues, and support. To hear Harry allegedly tried to reroute that money for personal convenience, their worst nightmare.
Harry is that this is his element, okay? When he was a member of the royal family and he was a working royal, he was doing this. He was playing with the youngsters, he was having fun, he was waving, he knew the cameras were there and he was enjoying himself. This time at the Invictus Games in Dusseldorf here, Meghan has joined him.
Several corporate backers, insiders say, are pressing for strict guarantees now. They want ironclad reassurance that donations will only go to veterans, not Sussex travel expenses. And sure, the CEO's bold refusal has calmed some nerves. But the fact that the request was made at all, that leaves a bitter aftertaste. The Sussex brand, once a sparkling jewel for Invictus, is now being whispered about as a liability. Sponsors are worried, nervous even, that Harry's drama could scare off future funding. And what makes this worse is the ghost that never leaves Harry's side, his hypocrisy on climate change. For years, he stood on stages wagging his finger at the world. Fly less, drive less, consume less. Yet here he is again, demanding a private jet. Same old contradiction. Do as I say, not as I do.
With USA fans cheering on, singing Sweet Caroline. Now, we're told that obviously this is the pair of them kind of showing their true self. But it's also moving on from the negativity that has really blighted the last 3.5 years of their life.
And of course, critics are feasting on it. British tabloids are pulling out every photo they can find. Harry and Meghan stepping off luxury jets, dripping in designer wear, and putting them side by side with his climate speeches. And honestly, the headlines write themselves. Harry talks green, but flies private. For someone who prides himself on being a moral compass, this hits hard. His credibility is being shredded. And then, as always, Meghan's name gets pulled into the mix. Insiders whisper that Meghan may have been the real push behind this VIP travel demand. And honestly, it wouldn't be the first time. From security detail battles to clashes with staff over hotels and flights, Meghan's reputation for insisting on luxury precedes her. If she did have a hand in this, it fits right into the narrative critics love, that she's turned Harry from a grounded military man into a Hollywood husband obsessed with image over service. Fair or not, that's how the world sees it now, and it's only fueling the backlash. And online? Oh, it's exploded. Twitter, TikTok, you name it. Memes are everywhere, mocking Harry as the private jet prince. One viral caption, "Invictus for veterans, not vacations." Brutal. Some parody clips even show soldiers crammed into budget airlines while Harry's face is photoshopped sipping champagne in a private cabin. The ridicule isn't just niche, it's viral, it's savage, and it's sticking. Because that's how scandals survive today. Not just through newspaper headlines, but through relentless mockery that turns your name into a punchline. And Harry? He's the punchline now. For Invictus itself, this could be the moment everything changes. What was once Harry's crowning achievement is now threatened by his own entitlement. Insiders claim the CEO and board are even discussing ways to distance the games from the Sussex circus. Their priority is crystal clear. Protect the veterans, protect the sponsors, protect the athletes, even if that means pushing Harry to the sidelines. Can you imagine? The ultimate humiliation, watching the games he built thrive without him. And for Harry personally, this is devastating. This man once reinvented himself as the spare who found purpose, a royal who turned duty into meaning. But now, he looks exactly like what he always swore he wasn't. Entitled, spoiled, demanding perks while others sacrifice. The tragedy? He doesn't even see it. To him, a private jet isn't luxury, it's normal. But to the veterans and to the watching world, it's a glaring symbol of a man who has lost touch with reality. And that's the heart of this scandal. It's not just about a jet, it's about a prince who once promised he'd be different, now proving he's the same as all the others. The Invictus Games were supposed to be Harry's shield, his one untouchable project. But even Invictus is pushing back now. The big question, what's next? Will Harry be quietly pushed aside? Will veterans and donors demand his removal? Or will he dig in his heels, insisting he's still the face of a movement that no longer trusts him? One thing's clear. Harry may have thought he was soaring high, but after this jet scandal, his reputation is nosediving. Fast. So here's where it all lands. Prince Harry thought he was the untouchable royal-turned-rebel, the man who could straddle two worlds, palace prestige and veteran brotherhood. But this scandal? It stripped that image bare. Because let's be honest, when you're begging a veterans charity to fund your private jet, you don't look like a comrade, you look like a king without a crown, desperate to cling to privileges you claimed you left behind. And Meghan's shadow over this drama, it only makes things worse. The whispers that she nudged this demand paint a picture of a couple more obsessed with optics than service, more concerned with luxury than loyalty. It feeds right into the narrative critics have been screaming for years, that Harry and Meghan aren't building a legacy, they're milking one. And the world? Oh, it's eating this up. The memes aren't slowing down. The hashtags, #private jet prince, #captain first class, are sticking. Sponsors are side-eyeing. Veterans are whispering betrayal. And the once golden Invictus Games, Harry's proudest creation, is in danger of thriving without him. That's not just humiliation, that's devastation. Because here's the cruel twist. The games will go on, the veterans will march forward, the donors will rally, but Harry, he risks being remembered not as the soldier's prince, not as the founder of a movement, but as the man who tried to steal from the very people he vowed to protect. And that's the real tragedy. He promised the world he'd be different, but this jet scandal, it proves he's exactly the same, maybe even worse, because at least the royals never pretended otherwise. So the question now, will Harry swallow his pride, step back, and save what's left of his dignity? Or will he double down, clinging to a role that no longer wants him? Whatever happens, one thing's for sure. This isn't the story of a prince flying high. It's the story of one crashing down, and the world is watching every second of the fall.